Now, I think for many of you, the question arose, how is that legally possible? How is that possible? What is the law behind this? Why is it not being changed? How many cases do we have? And what will be the response of Norway now after so many cases have become public and where the children had to be returned? And this is why I'm very happy to introduce you tonight to Marius Reikeras. Am I probably saying your name completely wrong? Marius? Where's Marius? Please come, Marius. You are a human rights lawyer. You work with the European Court of Human Rights. And you have been doing a lot of human rights activism all over the world. And we would be happy if you told us more about this, but there was a rumor that you are being fined by Norway for your human rights activism. Now, for me as a lawyer, that sounds hard to believe. But I'd be happy if you told us more about this. And I do work a lot with the OSCE, and they have a special unit that deals with defending human rights defenders. Because in many developing countries, those who work for human rights are being persecuted by their own governments. But here we are speaking about Norway. So there's a lot of questions we have for you, Marius. Thank you for joining us. I knew it was not easy for you to come, and we are all very much looking forward to listening to you.
Anyhow, my name is Marius Reikeras. I'm a human. I have to say, if not to have problems with the government, I'll say I'm a human rights activist. That's a neutral word. I am very happy to see you here today. I'm very happy that this is being broadcast throughout Europe. I just got back 1 week ago from the Polish Parliament, where I was fortunate to speak for more than 2 million people in Poland. And I will tell what this is. This is a war on human rights crimes. I've tried to address for many, many years to the Norwegian government that we have to comply to the Human Rights Acts because we are committed to do so. However, for more than 10 years, we have been ignored. And you've heard, I'm so impressed that you're coming here to tell your story. It's wonderful that you are showing this commitment. And unfortunately, it's even worse than Europe think it is. Our most important job is, of course, to address these horrible issues as far as we can internationally. But the thing is that, as you mentioned, it comes with quite a danger to do human rights work in Norway. You've heard your story, and I'm not surprised at all, because you've seen in the wake of the Barnevernet case that a lot of people are being persecuted for taking a stand in that case. People have lost their jobs, people have been fined for bringing out news on the internet. And me, myself, 1 year ago, I was approached by 2 police officers in my office in Bergen, where they come with this piece of paper allowing me to pay a fine of approximately 2,500 euro for doing human rights work. And you may be interested in why, but the thing is that because I have a lot of followers on Facebook and because I'm a very active person on social medias and also in courts like in the European Court of Human Rights, they said that I did too much human rights work. So let's pretend that I had 300 followers instead of 12,000. Let's pretend I did human rights work once in a while. Then it would be okay. But the thing was that I did it too frequently. And I did it too much. And I exposed it too much. So because of that, they wanted to fine me for a fine of 2,500 euro. That was last year, approximately a little more than a year ago. But anyhow, then I didn't hear anything until just before, someday in June, where a police officer called me and he wanted to interrogate me. And I said, for what? I said, well, we want to penalize for doing this illegal human rights work. So I said, I don't have any obligation to go to any interrogation meeting with you, so if you want to correspond with me, you have to address that in my email. And then I hang up. When the summer holiday was over, I've been traveling. I've been really busy with traveling around in Europe, especially in Eastern European countries, addressing all these human rights crimes issues. The police started to confront me by coming to my door. And I told I have two daughters, 12 and 13 years old. I said that if there are someone calling on the door, don't open it. And a few weeks ago, my oldest daughter, she's 13, she was 6, so she was home from school. She heard that there was a police car standing outside her door. And she called me and said, don't open the door, pretend like you're not home. And after a while, the police officers left, but of course, that for me was a turning point. It's one thing that they harass me as a person, that's okay. But when it comes to harassing my daughters, that becomes an issue. So as I told you, that became a turning point for me. I decided from that day, when I heard my daughter was frightened, that this is a war. This is a human rights war against my own government, and I will take whatever it takes to put an end to this war. That's why I'm going all over the world now to address these issues. I'm going to Canada next month, I'm going to the United States, I'm going to Russia, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to stop this, even my life, because enough is enough. So I have a final message. I didn't know that I had the possibility to be this emotional, but that was good. It was the first time, actually. Anyhow, I have this message to my own Minister of Justice, Anders Anundsen. Anders Anundsen, if you're hearing me now, and I know you will, because I've addressed a lot of issues to you lately, you have to stop these violations right away. You are putting so much embarrassing to Norway now. I was in Poland, as I told you last week, and Janusz Korwin-Mikke, one of the greatest and most powerful and also most powerful politicians in Europe, he asked me if, is really your justice minister a communist, allowing these atrocities to happen? I had to say to him that, no, my justice minister is belonging to the Progressive Party on the right, on the far right side. But I know he will listen to this, and my message is you have to stop this, because you are the overall responsible for all these human rights crimes that take place. And now it's time to stop it. So that's why I'm wonderful that we're here, wonderful that this is being broadcast, because I know lots of people will pay attention to this message, and this is how we will do this. We will stop it together. And that's the most important thing we can do. We have to stop all these atrocities. So thank you very much, everybody. We will win this war. And I have one more message from Thomas Tchaikovsky, who is definitely one of my closest partners in this war. And he has a very good message. He says that if you believe in victory, victory believes in you. And I think that's very good said, because we will never give up on this. I know how much you've been suffering. I'm so happy to see that you come all the way here to make this really important message. But this is how we will force the Norwegian government to stop it. And of course, the European Council is already doing it now by making this very clear message to Norway that they're actually taking Norway into the shamehood by actually making a report about what's going on. So I think we've already prevailed, but we have to continue. So all these atrocities come to an end. Thank you very much.
Marius, let me briefly ask you, the human rights work that you were doing that Norway is not happy with, is all related to children and Barnevernet? Or is it other cases as well? Just tell us briefly what the issues were you were working on.
When I practiced as a lawyer, I didn't practice very much on CPS or Barnevernet issues. I practiced more on other issues as well. And that's why I paid very close attention to Barnevernet cases as well, because I see this clear pattern that regardless of what kind of area of law you were practicing in, you see the same kind of violations. You see that if you approach a judge in Norway with human rights issues, he only meets you with contempt. I would say that more than 95% of the judges in Norway, they really hate human rights issues. They don't even know what it is, because they think that, they say that we don't have to deal with human rights issues because we consider our internal law to be in compliance with the Human Rights Acts. So why should we bother? So that's why you have all these atrocities, especially in the CPS areas, because no judges at all look into the Human Rights Acts. They only look into the internal laws and say that here, we have a law, we trust the government. And what's the victory rate for the Norwegian government in the judge system? Is almost 98%. I even have statistics on that. So when people say you can always bring the case to the court, it's a lie. Because you cannot do that, because it's almost impossible to win. So the thing is that you see all these patterns in all different areas. So it's not only related to the CPS, it's about the fact that the Norwegian government, as well as the Norwegian judges, contempt the Human Rights Acts, and they hate everything about it. And that's why we're here today, to bring focus upon that. And that's why, I mean, if the Norwegian judges respected human rights, people like Amy wouldn't be here today.
Did you consider to bring these issues in front of the European Court of Human Rights? Would that not be helpful?
I have several cases already pending for the European Court of Human Rights. This has taken me a while to have the acceptance from the Court of Human Rights, but there was a turning point in 2013 when I dealt with a case involving more than 500 divers, North Sea divers who were very young in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but contributed to make Norway the rich country it is today, because they were the one who were able to bring the oil up from the North Sea. But they got badly injured, and of course they sued the government, and they wanted me to represent them back in 2006. When I was at that time 33 years old, and of course this was the largest human rights case ever taking place in Norway. And I felt that the courts were mocking me when I was trying to bring this as a human rights case. And of course we lost in the city court, we lost in the Court of Appeal, and we lost in the Supreme Court. But on December 5th, 2013, the Court of Human Rights ruled in the divers' favor, concluding that there was a violation of Article 8 of the Convention. And after that, I've seen a tremendous change also in the Human Rights Court's perspective. And now, it's interesting, as you're saying, because the Norwegian Government Council wanted to try to keep all these CPS cases secret for the Norwegian public. And 3 days ago, there came a letter from the European Court of Human Rights rejecting this wish from the Government Council, saying that these cases should be in public. But I was surprised seeing how many cases he tried to close down by keeping them secret. There were more than 6 cases only related to CPS that has been accepted by the European Court of Human Rights, meaning that we will see in the future a tremendous change where I think that the European Court of Human Rights will rule very hard on Norway. So I'm very positive when it comes to the future. I think Norway will have very many judgments against, especially in the CPS cases. So, and I've seen also the way that the European Court is addressing the Norwegian government now, saying that you have a choice. You can either admit that you're violating these human rights, or we will do it for you. So, of course, that helps a lot with the positive spirit as well. That we have the European Court on our side, we have the European Council on our side, we have definitely the European Parliament on our side, and we have lots of governments on our side. So now there is no way back. So let's keep on fighting. We've never been this strong before.
This calls for victory. Marius, thank you so much. Thank you.